That's it, right? Yeah, cool. I think that's it. Let's go into Elephant Graveyard. So, be up Elephant Graveyard. We're going to watch the Elephant Graveyard, react to the Elephant Graveyard. It's called How Comedy Became a Dystopian Imperial Hell World. You know how much I love Elephant Graveyard. You know how much sick stuff he's been doing lately. He's been going up and up. Look at this video, 1 day old only. It's already nearly 300k views. He usually kills it. His editing is fucking crazy. References are out of this world. Great music and everything else in between. So let's see what Elephant Graveyard has cooked up for us today.
But we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes.
What a great quote. That's a great quote to start off with, honestly. That quote is so good. We went from Walter Cronkite to Joe Rogan. He believes in dragons. That's such a good insult.
He believes in dragons.
Did you triple force that?
And he also thinks that dragons, like I guess like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
This election was the first time they didn't really have control of the media anymore.
Because what?
Because of us.
Non-mainstream media.
Because of podcasts.
Podcasts. I'm selling tickets.
Because of social media. Because
you're
of X.
humanizing Trump like, well, he's a human.
Yeah.
So why can't
They've been caught up in all this shit they've shoved down everybody's throat, especially all the Russia shit.
Imagine a scenario where you've thawed a guy out from some frozen cryo chamber thing. He's been in there for like 20 years. And this frozen guy, well, he loves comedy. And so this guy is excited to finally be unthawed and to discover what the world of comedy looks like in 2025.
That's such a good point, isn't it? That is such a good point. That is such a fucking good point. I never thought about it that way. Like, imagine if you were put in cryosleep and then you were reawoken in 2024 and presented with these are the elites of the elites, you know, of fucking comedians out there. You're like, what? Huh? Like, you'd be so confused.
The year of our Lord. So you invite the guy to your house, sit him down on the Chesterfield, and prepare a televisual feast to get him up to speed. And you try to find a way to explain to this guy how this guy right here somehow is the king of both comedy and broadcasting.
He said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is fucking great. And Joe Rogan believes in dragons! And Joe Rogan believes in dragons! Joe Rogan believes in dragons! 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 Dragons!
I'm sorry, I need to rewind that. I need to rewind that already.
Said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is fucking great. And Joe Rogan believes in dragons! And Joe Rogan believes in dragons!
So good.
Joe Rogan believes in dragons! 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 Dragons!
Also, what's that movie? The movie that what you call it? Stallone's in. What's that one? Is that sci-fi one? I think I watched it before. Where he's like a cop that's in cryosleep. Is that the one? What's that film called? He plays a cop, and I think he gets put in cryosleep. The time I'm thinking about? Is it? Which one is that one? It's Sylvester Stallone. Is it the Demolition Man? He's a police officer. I'm sure it's like a police force set in the future. I remember I watched it before. Is it Judge Dredd? Cry Cop. Is it? I don't know what it is. Whatever the movie is, I love the reference. Big up in the stream chat. Cry Cop.
And you gotta explain to the freezer guy that you're sorry to be the one to tell him this, but we truly live in hell, and I feel that in my bones. And he's surely gonna want to get back in that freezer thing, but he can't, so instead he slices.
Honestly, man, even out of context, there's not like, how does this even make sense? With no context, like, what the fuck is that joke? Like, this is what elite level of comedy looks like. This is what Navy SEALs level of comedy looks like. Like,
but we truly live in hell, and I feel that in my bones. And he's surely going to want to get back in that freezer thing, but he can't, so instead he slices his own head off. Just a little scenario to think about. How the hell did we get here?
Yeah, exactly.
It could have been great, but well, you guys know how the universe works. We're all just flying down an endless series of alternate realities inside a vast multiverse. And you can't really control which branch of those realities you are going to live in. And, well, our wonderful reality is the one in which this guy was able to be crowned both the king of comedy and the king of broadcasting. And I was sitting here watching this clip of this insane, resentful, unhappy, angry, and unfunny old man hysterically ranting and raving about his belief in dragons.
And then
It's
you couldn't
all
believe that.
a
Watch
fucking
the news.
illusion. It's all a fucking illusion. All of them, when convenient, have said the exact same things.
Dragons are real.
While his personal
We got Mark Norman, expert, brilliant fucking comedy timing from Mark Norman.
curated group of friends, who he's pretty much hired to hang out with him, sit around subserviently laughing at his terrible attempts at jokes,
Doing the New York thing.
nodding along as he continues to spout the literal dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and putting on a master class on the warning signs of early onset dementia.
That's a good point though, isn't it? You never, for some reason, we never see it, or maybe I never see it. I never see Rogan friends, like, I never see his friendship group the same way we used to see Brendan's. Remember everyone was saying, oh yeah, Brendan's paying for his friends. He doesn't have any real friends. As soon as he quit comedy, all those people disappeared, right? Remember he'd go on tour with Chappelle, Malik, BGL when he was around, Chin sometimes, you know, Little Brown, all these people, right? But he was paying them to be there, technically. So that's why they were there. But we don't actually see, or even when TFATK wasn't cancelled, and Andrew Santino would go in there, and Tom Segura, and Bert Kreischer, and, you know, what's his name? Bobby Santino. Andrew Santino, sorry, Bobby Santino. All people go in there. You'd always see the Brendan thing as very transactional. But for some reason, Rogan's friendship with these guys seems a lot more genuine. But when you really dig deep into it, they're only his friends because he's Rogan and because he's the most important person in comedy. It's not as if like it's a friendship based on any kind of genuine friendship, really. It is quite transactional in that way, weirdly enough. But because he's the biggest guy, he's also a kind of a gatekeeper by default. They sort of like, you know, they sort of kind of need him a little bit more than he needs them a little bit. It's a strange thing. I wonder if he's aware of that as well. That these people aren't really your friends. They're only your friends because you've got the biggest podcast in the world and you also happen to be a comedian, you know?
Climate change. Wake up. No, it's arson, you fucking idiots.
I think to myself, there's no way anybody listens to this. I checked the podcast charts. It's number 1. No, 2.
Dragons!
Oh, who's number 1 now? Who's number
I
1?
checked the podcast charts.
Who's that? Who's Mel Robbins? I never heard of her. Who's Mel Robbins? Okay, Mel Robbins, Joe Rogan, The Daily, that's the New York Times one, Cooler Daddy, Blink, and Murder and Moonlight. I've actually heard that The Daily is quite good. People actually say the New York Times on The Daily is actually quite decent for like daily news stuff anyway, from what I've heard. But I haven't listened to Cooler Daddy since the breakup, and I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mind it when the two girls were on it, but I think, you know, listening to that girl by herself interview people, I'm not really into it. I haven't heard Murder. I think that Murder was probably like some sort of serial killer one, I'm assuming. Blink, Heroin, Secrets and Deadly Betrayal. No idea what that is about. But I'm assuming it's some sort of like true crime thing. But I don't know who the fuck is Mel Robbins? Who's that? Who's Mel Robbins? I've never heard of her. Who's that? Oh, she's an author. What did she write? Mel Robbins is an American author and podcast host, former lawyer. She's known for a TEDx talk, How to Stop Screwing Yourself Over. Her books, The Let Them Theory and The 5-Second Rule and the 5 High Habit. Since 2020, she's hosted Mel Robbins podcast. Okay, no idea who this girl is. Mel Robbins. Oh, she's an Oprah friend as well. Okay, cool. I get it. She's probably got one of these fucking self-help woo-woo books, isn't it? Right? The 5-Second Rule. What's the 5-Second Rule? Let's see what this one. What's the synopsis of like this rule? The 5-Second Rule. Throughout her life, what's this book about? Let me just, yeah, what is it about? What is the 5-Second Rule? Quotes. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within it. 5-Second Rule. What's it about? What is it? What's AI telling me? The 5-Second Rule is a self-management technique where you what's that? When you impulse to take an action on something, you count backwards 5 seconds, and then immediately start doing it. Essentially, preventing procrastination to acting before. Isn't reading about procrastination? Isn't reading about ways to combat procrastination basically procrastination? Key points about the 5-Second Rule: overcoming hesitation. Core ideas to act within the 5 seconds to bypass self-doubt and hesitation. Application: this can be used for anything from starting to work out, apply method. Okay, cool, fair enough. Sounds fucking boring though.
It's number 1. No, 2.
Dragons!
And it's listed as comedy.
Dragons!
Oh God. It suddenly all hit me how messed up this all is. And how this whole shit era of comedy kind of snuck up on all of us like boiling a frog or
Yo, big up Chris Mack in the stream chat. Oh shit, sidebar, did you see Matt and Shane is officially a Spotify podcast this week? They probably got a bag, but I wondered how large it was because it already makes 60 per monthly. Oh yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that on their Reddit or something. Yeah, I saw that too. They've got the little overlay in it. I'm assuming there was a bag involved, but probably not a big one. I bet I can assume Spotify probably have probably taken a step back on offering big bags for licensing deals, and they probably just have a little one. So maybe when you upload it first on Spotify, and then it kind of trickles through to the other podcast feeds. But the fact that they didn't announce it, I would imagine it's not a big bag. I don't know if they didn't announce it publicly. I think it's just one of those kind of like we help you out, you help us out type of bags, but it's still probably a decent amount. And I also don't think it matters if they make 600 grand on fucking Patreon. I don't think it matters them. You know what I mean? It wouldn't hurt them making more money. I think that's one thing I've learned about America. You guys in America, man, people pay a lot for media. They pay a lot for entertainment. You know what I mean? People don't fuck around, so I don't think it would hamper them in any way, shape, or form if they got offered a big bag from Spotify. Big up, Austin Casey.
Have some respect. You are watching one of the 250 top comedian assassins.
Yeah,
Smiley face.
We should all have more respect. Let's all respect these people more. Not just me. Let's all have a more collective respect, okay? Let's respect these guys. Sets and reps. But no one says that anymore, by the way. You notice that? No one says sets and reps anymore. I don't hear many comedians talk about going on. Maybe the ones I hear is of proper comedians, the East Coast ones. I don't hear from West Coast comedians about getting up, doing fucking, going through their fucking 5 minutes, getting on. I don't hear about anything about that. I wonder why that is. No one says anything about getting up anymore and working on material, holding a joke. It's almost as if they're all phoning it in.
or whatever. And I don't know if I'm just crazy, but I think this is actually bad. So I started thinking, trying to put the puzzle pieces together. Just trying to figure out, how did we even get here? And where are we going? And does it really have to be this shitty? Was it ever even not shitty? Like, what the hell is even going on here?
That's a good point.
And just like that, I realized it.
I was at the airport one time, and I went to a Starbucks to get some coffee.
Stand-up comedy is fucking stupid. And I don't even...
Bro, big up Elephant Graveyard. Did we come to the same conclusion once in the stream? Do you remember once we... I forgot what it was. What were we watching? I think I put you guys through hell, and I went on the fucking stand-up subreddit, r/stand-up, and we went through the top post based on month or based on year. And it was brutal. Remember, we went through the...
I mean this current shit era. I mean the whole thing. The whole art form, like the whole idea of it. It sucks. And it's worse than stupid, really. It's disgusting. And it should be illegal, maybe.
I hope I haven't offended anyone.
It just keeps getting weirder and weirder and further away from anything I ever thought was good. Yeah, this shit era of comedy is way past its expiration date. It's been fermented, fully soured, and is now completely putrefied. It's... how else can I describe this? We are way past the tail end of it.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Look at his faces. Who the fuck is that guy again? He's got a podcast, isn't he? He's like super nice. What's his name again? I forgot his name. He was a guest on a few pods before, but I've got his name. What's this guy's name? Do you guys know his name? What's this white guy's name on the screen here? He's got a weird face, man. He could just tell him he's not funny by just the way he looks. Pete Holmes, that's it. You know what? Actually, I take it back. Isn't he quite funny on podcasts? But I'd imagine his stand-up is gonna be pretty shitty. I think he's quite funny on pods, isn't it? I think he's quite funny on pods, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember seeing him on maybe Tiger Belly or some episode where he wasn't too bad of a host, but a lot of these guys are like this, by the way. A lot of these guys seem to be good podcast guests in terms of their funnies. Andrew Santino being a good one. But when they get on stage, it's just like, it's the complete opposite. I don't know what it is about that stage and that microphone that turns these guys into being so unfunny, man.
It's... how else can I describe this? We are way past the tail end of it, and we are dancing around in the steaming pile of shit that fell out of its ass. We've talked about this before, but everything has its cycle. You get that, right?
Yep.
Come on, a guy like you? I mean, there are guys out there who have already been talking about the cycles better than I can.
Intelligent human beings should realize that everything has their cycle. They have their season.
I agree with this guy.
They have their beginning. They have their end.
Yep.
They have cycles.
I think I agree with everything he says.
Especially when you think about the culty nature of some comedians and their fucking fan bases. Very, very, very on point reference.
About to be recycled.
Good. Do
We're
it.
on the threshold of the end of this civilization because it's about to be recycled.
Right,
Your only
I understand
chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
Yo, big up Angel Ranger.
Remember Steve ran AZZ lying about being in 9/11?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've said it many times on here, and I will never stop saying it. How he got away with that is just criminal, man. How he got away with that, honestly, is insane. Because imagine how the comedy scene would have reacted if some regular mainstream person lied like that about being at 9/11. Like, imagine if AOC, not AOC, maybe because she's too young, but imagine if some mainstream left-leaning person lied about being in the fucking Twin Towers while, during 9/11 or before or before the actual plane flew into the building. Imagine that, how they would react. He got away with that one too easily, man.
All right. Our lives have cycles. History has cycles. Culture, ecosystems. You see it everywhere, it's just obvious. You're telling me you don't see the cycles? What are you, drunk? Like all the time? Well, it's also obvious that this current shit era of comedy has reached its end. And wouldn't it be great if that next era could get started? Well, unfortunately, there are incredibly powerful forces keeping this bloated comedy carcass on life support, artificially sustained, and they won't allow it to die off and renew like it's supposed to.
Really?
Hi.
Disgusting.
Ask Daniel Ek. Peter Thiel. What has Peter Thiel got to do with this? And Elon Musk, huh? I want to see where this connection goes.
This whole shit era was really ushered in by Dane Cook, who was one of the first guys to figure out the scheme of using social media to get famous. This new technology shifted reality, opening up a new branch of the multiverse in which talent and, being funny became secondary to how well you could market yourself online. Or maybe I'm wrong and he's actually brilliant, I don't know. Who can be sure?
You ever wish you were a snake?
Not me.
Cool to travel around.
There was a few guys that I saw that were like no-brainers.
Oh, honestly, man. These guys, it would be okay if they didn't take themselves so seriously. That's the thing that's so weird about this. If they didn't take themselves so seriously, and if they didn't think they were fucking, public intellectuals or something, it would be okay. But these niggas actually think they are the highest form of artistic expression doing this type of shit on stage. And in my eyes, they are stealing a living. Yeah, big up Mr. O. Big up Mr. O.
Do you think the same narrative applies to the DJ world? Shit DJs, fake influencer DJs, manufactured superstars with ghost producers?
Yeah, of course. It applies across the board. Because social media can be gamed and you can use it to your advantage. I don't think it's a bad thing though. I think because it gives everybody, at least nowadays, you get the opportunity to basically write your own ticket. No one's got an excuse now. No one's rooting for you. No one's purposely trying to keep you away. No one's trying to keep you out. You can make your own thing. Like Matt Rife basically showed. He basically made his own thing and kind of, basically made people in comedy respect him because of the power of his, of his fan base, following, ticket sales, all that malarkey. So there's no excuses now. But of course, with it being no excuses, everyone gets to play. And if everyone gets to play, some people play the game a lot better and they know how to fucking game it. That's when it gets a bit weird and shit. But I think by and large, it's still better than it was before. I think so. It's just unfortunate that I think maybe the more talented people, writers, probably are, I don't know. If you're really funny, would you prefer to be on stage telling jokes or just writing for a TV show? I don't know. Is that better? Or writing a Substack, having I don't know. Maybe the whole stand-up comedy thing, the grind of it is a little bit long for most people. But I still think we're in a better place than before, personally. I'm not gonna lie.
Dane was one. The shit that he gets through, the level that guy was killing. Dude, he put the fear in God in guys that have been doing it for 20 years. We used to do Dick Doherty, rest his soul, his comedy clubs. And Dane would have the headliner pacing in the back.
Damn.
He was killing that hard and he would be I shouldn't.
Yo, Bill, what's in Casey?
Don't forget these comedians are the last line of defense.
Yeah. For, what's that thing for? For free speech. When the comedians' free speech is taken away from them, we're all doomed. We're all doomed. Fucking dummed ups.
shouldn't have to follow that. There's no jokes here. It's like, well, listen to the crowd. There's something going on here.
So instead of wasting their energy on writing good jokes, guys began focusing on how well they could promote themselves on the internet. And then people started making these new things called podcasts too. And given the potential payoff, the low cost and low effort required to do all this crap was irresistible.
No, I like my space.
Especially for these lazy comedian guys whose greatest motivation in life is the fear of ever having to get a real job.
Fuck me.
That is a good point, isn't it? That is a good point. Like, most of these comedians have fans who are like regular working class people or regular working people, but they all very much despise the working man, innit? And they despise even more the idea of themselves having to work a regular job. Like, it's like every comedian has the same thing about, I could never. It's like, relax, bro, relax. Sometimes you just have to, right? To pay the rent, to get through life, or to get to the next fucking step. It's just not that deep. But some of these guys, I think, have a real disdain for the regular 9-to-5er. You know? They look down on them when those are most of their audience. Like, those are the people that actually pay their way. Those are the people that allow them to have their fucking fancy lifestyle that they have. I always wondered why that is. It's very strange. They kind of look down on their audience, a lot of comedians. I think when they come up, they're kind of, you know, thankful for having an audience. But some reason, as soon as they start playing in theaters, they fucking start to, you know, like the smell of their own farts.
And that marked the official beginning of the comedy podcast shit entanglement era, in which we are currently festering. Congratulations. Of course, nobody struck gold bigger than this genius, Joe Rogan. There he is.
Yep.
Yeah, this guy never had an original idea in his life. He really doesn't know anything about anything, but he does know how to copy a guy who already did a thing.
He doesn't know anything about anything. That's as the years progress, maybe it's just me because I was naive when I came into podcasts and shit. The more the years progress, the more you start to realize, like, Joe ain't really that smart. You know? Like, Joe isn't really that smart. He's not that intelligent. He's not really that well spoken. He's not that really well researched. You know what I mean? Like, not really. You know? And now the more he's leaning into this right wing shit, you're like, fuck, you know, he's kind of annoying, isn't it? Like, I wonder if that was always the case, and we just were, or I was just oblivious of it because I enjoyed the podcast and the guests they had so much back in the day when Joe Diaz was on there a lot and shit, and Eddie Bravo and Duncan Trussell and all that sort of shit. I wonder.
Trans women are women. How about most? You gotta leave room for crazy.
Believe women.
Oh no.
How about almost all?
How about you believe like 88%?
Yo, big up MJ Ranger.
How do you do, fellow Vela, I mean proletarians?
Big up MJ Ranger.
That's 12% that's out of their fucking minds. You know, I think that's a fair percentage, wouldn't you?
You gotta leave room for crazy.
That's what he does with stand-up, and that's what he did to start his podcast, which he stole the idea from Tom Green.
Hello. Yo. Big up Asad Aziz. AZ realizing Rogan is dumb, Elon is a fraud, stand-up comedy is GAY, and the man's growing up. Yeah, man. I've done a lot of fucking growing up in the last few months, man. It's been brutal, though. The Elon one is still fucking hurting my soul, man. That tweet about fucking exonerating Derek Chauvin, like, that fucking broke me, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. That broke me. I was like, not my guy Elon, bro. Not my guy Elon. Like, what? Free Derek Chauvin? Like, are you fucking nuts? Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It is 8:01. You're watching Tom Green Live. Roll the open.
Tom had the brains and the balls to start his own talk show, broadcasting live on the internet from his own home.
Oh, sick. So I didn't know this, by the way. Please forgive me for being ignorant. So Tom Green show was kind of the precursor to the Eric Andre show, isn't it? You know Eric Andre, how he has all those wacky things happening on the show. So I guess he took a lot of inspiration from this Tom Green guy, right? I love his set, man. I wonder why more people don't do this sort of style of like show. You know, this is kind of fun. Like, everyone just does the same thing, like sit in front of microphones and shit on the table. But he's got a really cool, fun set, and he's drinking booze on it. Maybe this is where Red Bar also gets his inspiration from, drinking booze on stream, like Red Bar.
And it was great. It was funny, chaotic, and it never took itself seriously.
That's good booze. Play something real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'm on Tom Green Live. Hooray!
All right, cool. Awesome.
It was unpredictable, and stuff went wrong all the time.
We can't see the on-air feed
that's
right
amazing.
now.
That's
The live feed's not coming through too good, but we figured we'd sit and wait.
This guy's scaring me. Are we up on the computers? We're up.
Why'd he stop?
He'd get mad at his production staff as a bit.
I want to see a laptop right now with it on the feed. Can I see it? Bring me a laptop right now.
Instead of whatever this is.
Oh, Tom Green looks fun, man. Yo, big up, Austin Casey.
I saw a comment that said Joe shitting on office jobs, then an immediate like in an advert plays is crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that if that's true. I love that, man. Then having a fucking LinkedIn ad or what's that other one they used to always advertise about hiring? I think Bill Burr used to have it. ZipRecruiter, right? Having a ZipRecruiter ad fucking play and all that stuff, but you fucking hate the employed. You hate the 9-to-5ers. What a fucking weirdo.
No. It's like a.
It's weird.
It's sort of like an Olymp.
Sorry.
Sometimes he'd get bombarded with prank calls, and because Tom has an actual sense of humor and a fully functioning brain, he could play along with them.
Tom Green, can you do a barrel roll for me?
A barrel roll?
Yeah, a barrel roll.
I like that guy. That guy's cool.
I'm the guy you hung up on the first call.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you.
Hello, you're on the air.
Instead of whatever this is.
I am really into rock, paper, scissors.
How into it are you?
I'm undefeated.
How is that possible?
Whenever they wanted anything, I would be like, all right, rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you can do this thing. If I win, and then I would like pick the thing that was like their sort of deepest fear, you know.
Can we play right now?
If I win, I do the programming on your show for a week.
No, that's worth a lot of money. You can f off.
You were so confident until just now. We can pick a month, a few months off.
All right. Sounds like someone's scared to lose at rock, paper, scissors.
It sounds like someone else is scared to lose it.
No, you're asking me for something that's ridiculous.
Look how mad it is.
You don't have it. Fuck off.
And number one comedy podcast in the world.
Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
No, I wasn't on Friends.
That's a joke.
Hey, stop joking.
No.
But is this all going to be huge?
Oh my god. He absolutely hates jokes, isn't it? He absolutely hates jokes. Oh my god, big up Alex Jones, man. That's such a good little zinger there. And he completely rolled his eyes at it like a little sassy bitch.
One comedy podcast in the world.
Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
No, I wasn't on Friends.
That's a joke.
Hey, stop joking.
No.
But is this all going to be huge? Huge?
That's a joke.
It's such a fun podcast. Such a fun time.
Need to beat Russia? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Fun.
Are you serious? Do you know how big that place is? Do you
Too
know how
big.
much military force is behind Putin? What are you talking about?
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about? Like, what if he
Right.
just decides to go nuclear?
Oh God, shut up. Oh, that's better. Oh, hell yeah. God, can you imagine that parallel universe where Tom became the number one podcast guy instead of Joe?
Oh, so much
Must
fun.
be a fun place to
Yeah.
be. That's where we're all supposed to be.
By the way, does anyone know anything about the law about Tom Green? Why did Tom Green stop? That show looks fucking great. It looked like a mix of like, or not mix. It looked like everything I'm seeing nowadays with Adam Friedland show, maybe even with Tim Dillon set a little bit, with obviously Eric Andre thing. Like, it looked fucking fun, man. I love how he has it set out like a late night show, by the way, sitting side by side with a guest. Random things happening, call-ins, interviews, all that shit. It looks fucking fun. I wonder why he stopped.
If anything made any fucking sense in this stupid world. But it doesn't. And sadly, guys, we are all forced to live in this very...
Okay, cool. So, big up people in the stream chat. Big up Josie. I think he stopped because he got cancer, testicular cancer. Okay, oh, that's a shame. Big up Dave Smith, testicular cancer. MK got too expensive. Chris Mack, I think it started getting really expensive to host HD. Okay, true. We forget about that, innit? Hosting. Remember before YouTube? Like, where would you host videos, bro? Hosting videos on the server was so expensive. Honestly. Now with YouTube, obviously, it's like basically unlimited, isn't it? Really high quality places where you can fucking host your videos. But yeah, back in the day when you were running those things yourself, or having to stream it with your own software and all that malarkey, and not having just, you know, easy built-in applications like OBS, like I use and shit, and Streamlabs and shit. Oof, it must have been tough to keep this going. But he was ahead of his time, man. Tom Green was ahead of his time.
very shitty branch of the multiverse.
Exiled from the group.
This is the branch where Stu and Joe stole Tom Green's idea.
Bill Coiler, it was 25 years ago. He just moved on. Imagine moving on. Imagine moving on these guys will never move on, innit? They're just gonna bleed this fucking podcasting dry. There's no such thing as moving. That's why I respect people that do actually pause or move on. Like even Nick Mullen, everyone's kind of ragging on Nick Mullen for quitting Cumtown, quitting fucking Adam Friedland show, but sometimes it just gets boring, bro. Just hearing yourself speak again and again and again, constantly being on camera and shit, like, allow it. Just, I don't know, do stand-up and live your life, innit? You don't need to always be on the internet. You don't need to always be fucking creating content. But I think these motherfuckers, because they don't got anything else, because most of these guys are, I would say, most of Rogan's orbit are podcasters first, comedians second. Like, that's where the majority of their fans know them, from podcasting. And that's probably where they get the majority of their money. I don't think they're ever going to quit talking into a fucking microphone. They fucking love it, especially while sitting down and shit. But most of them are terrible at it, and you know, it's definitely hampering their comedy.
Made a much shittier version of it and slowly took over mainstream media, comedy, and the US government. As he continues to spread his wonderful mental...
Yeah, about Chris Mack, he was paying for streaming and also paying for the increasingly large archive to be available on demand. He was paying like $30,000 a month. Okay, cool, fair enough. There you go, that's a good point. Yeah, built younger vibes. They're going to be doing it until they're 86. Yeah, talking about COVID. Exactly.
herpes to all his listeners week after week.
Make your daddy proud.
I'm proud to be your friend.
I'm proud to be yours as well.
Proud.
I love you, Joe, man.
I love you too,
Thank you for your time, bro.
Oh yeah, thanks. Almost forgot to thank him today. You can watch in real time the moment Joe realizes there might be gold in these podcast hills.
Dude, I think this is awesome.
Thank you, man. See, no, I mean,
This is the craziest thing ever.
it really is different, you know, than television.
This is way better.
He gets rock hard, praising its lack of corporate interests and griping about how advertising and money ruin anything good about entertainment.
It's not a corporate pressure. See, the thing that f***ed up television,
Watch the lab,
thing that
Mike.
f***ed up entertainment in general
Idiot.
is money. They
Oh,
still
really?
selling advertising, and that's all. And that f***s up everything. It doesn't make anything good.
A belief he abandons literally within seconds once he realizes that he could be the sole beneficiary of this potential new advertising revenue stream.
We need to figure out how you make money from this.
Yeah.
I
think we
thought
create
money ruined
a
everything.
national interweb, we call it, and then create a mass traffic
like a portal
gauge.
Watch right here. You can see the wheels turning inside his brain as he quickly flip-flops.
Like a portal into the advertising revenue stream, you know? Then
So he just copied Tom Green, and he started the Joe Rogan shitcast experiment, and just for being an early adopter of podcasting, he was able to become the biggest and most mainstream establishment media figure on the planet. There he goes, stealing Joe.
He's like DSP in that way, isn't it? He's like Darkside Phil in that way. Like, he got in so early, it's basically impossible for him to fail, and that's why he's still around. You know? He got in so early that, and he just stayed consistent with it. It was impossible for him not to be a success. And now he's just the only one. He's probably going to be, like a young old vibe said, he's probably going to be the last one left as well. You know? he's going to be the last one left. He's definitely going to be on that fucking show with that fucking backdrop in his 80s, you know, ranting about ivermectin. You know it. You fucking know it.
Yeah, this visionary genius is comedy's George Carmack. Who's George Carmack? Well, he's the guy who found that first piece of gold in the Yukon, which started the whole Klondike gold rush. There was nothing special about George Carmack. He was just some guy. He was just lucky enough to get a tip from this other guy, Robert Henderson, saying there might be some gold up there in the Yukon. So George just went up there and yeah, he found some. And after that, loads of guys swarmed up to the Klondike there and ruined the place as they all tried to copy what Carmack did. And just like Henderson tipped off Carmack, Tom Green tipped off Joe, giving Joe the idea to start a DIY podcast. And he did. And he struck gold and caused a stampede of comedians trying to copy his blueprint, turning everything to shit in the process. Like a plague of locusts. Shit locusts. And guys, please don't hold that against Tom, all right? There's no way he could have predicted the consequences of that tip. And Tom's a wonderful man. And actually, just like Joe Rogan, all his riches were never enough for George Carmack. He was always questing for more and more gold, never satisfied. He, like Joe, must have had some kind of dad-shaped hole in his soul that he tried to fill with money and fame, but it never really worked.
What are you saying?
George dropped dead at age 61 while working yet another new claim. I'm just saying. So Joe struck gold and, as we all know, became the godfather king of both comedy and podcasting, and helped to restore faith that we are still living in a meritocracy-based society. And we love him.
Yeah, exactly. I also feel like I stopped hearing. I also feel like I've stopped. Like they've reduced that conversation. Remember the whole meritocracy, like the cream rises to the top. I feel like I've stopped hearing that from comedians because I think they subconsciously know that's not true. They know if you're friends with them, your career gets turbocharged. If you're friends with Rogan, you jump a few steps. So I think they are by default not proclaiming that comedy is this great meritocracy and thing. No, it isn't. There are some good comedians out there who are performing in fucking, in dive bars in front of 2 people, because they're not friends with Rogan. But then there are some shit people who are performing at Madison Square Garden every other fucking weekend because they're friends with Joe Rogan. So this whole meritocracy thing is a fucking ruse.
And we thank him each and every day of our lives. Along the way, Joe spawned a slew of copycat shows trying to coattails his success to the point where every single comedian now has their own podcast, literally every single one. And so many of them were built on the same premise of what goes on inside a comedian's twisted mind, what really happens backstage in that green room.
The green room is
Twisted minds. No one can joke like a comedian, innit? No one can joke like a comedian. Their twisted minds are the best minds. Yo, big up Young God Vibes. Appreciate you. Big up Young God Vibes. Big up Blood Clot Young God Vibes. Thank you for the fucking 5 bomb. Big up Blood Clot Young God Vibes. Everyone that gets a fucking membership from Young God Vibes, make sure you say thank you. Make sure you say thank you, you motherfuckers. Make sure you say thank you. Appreciate Young God Vibes.
Amazing.
No.
I know it looks bad, it doesn't.
I can't believe it. Well, we all found out pretty quick that most of them are just sick, twisted perverts and dangerous, mentally ill narcissists.
Big up me getting a subscription, by the way. Big up me getting a subscription. Love it.
Predators, abusers, all those kinds of guys. Farting around in that stupid green room in one big depraved circle jerk.
As long as she paid $100. I had girls in my dick giving me coke from Chewy. You think I'm fucking kidding you? Yeah, you gotta suck my dick to get up in the belly room. I'm making a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them. I got to Hollywood, bro. She was beautiful. And when she left, she had dirty fucking, her nails were dirty.
By the way, this is the real reason why Joey Diaz quit the church of what's happening right now. Because he wanted to get away from all that content. And that's why he took a break. And it worked, to be fair. He ran away from LA, went to New Jersey. I love Joey Diaz, honestly, I really do. But we know the real reason why he quit. Why he stopped doing stand-up, stopped doing podcasting. We know the real reason.
A year later, she wrote me a letter to the Comedy Store. You sucker, you broke me. I kept shooting sperm balls in her f***ing bar.
That actually makes me want to start believing in the death penalty. Send him right to Sparky. Anyways, on and on it went, and they just kept making these podcasts. They just won't stop, pumping them out. And then a pandemic happened, and people were alone, and so...
That edit is so good. They just won't stop pumping them out. It's fucking Joe Frosting. Honestly, the edits are so good. Big up. Elephant Graveyard.
Anyways, on and on it went, and they just kept making these podcasts. They just won't stop, pumping them out. And then a pandemic happened, and people were alone, and so desperate not to listen to the thoughts inside their own heads. So they put on these podcasts as mental screensavers and escape into the friendship simulation that these podcasts provide. And the numbers went up, and more guys made more and more podcasts, always trying to outcompete each other by making everything...
That's a good point. COVID was probably the worst time possible for comedy scene, isn't it? Because it just birthed a whole new wave of podcasts. Maybe if COVID never happened, a lot of these podcasts would have naturally died off, and we probably would have had a new, fresh restart of a resurgence of new comedians or something. But I think this whole podcasting wave made more comedians double down on their podcasts and probably spend less time on stage or less time even writing jokes. Because I'm still a believer, and maybe I'm just being, maybe I'm projecting a bit for myself because I don't write as much as I would love to. Because I used to write my fucking daily blogs all the fucking time, and I really enjoyed it and shit. But I think I talk about writing way more than I actually write. I strongly believe a lot of these guys don't actually write as many jokes as they say they do. I think they rely on what they do on stage. They may freestyle some things. They might make up material while they're on stage. But I don't think a lot of these guys actually sit down and write jokes anymore, because most of their time is spent podcasting. Like what time do you have to fucking write jokes when you're podcasting, 6 hours a week, plus you're on the road, plus you're trying to record a special, whatever you're fucking doing, recording ad reads. I just don't believe they actually sit down and write, which is probably the reason why a lot of their fucking material is so fucking shit. Yeah, what's in Casey?
Podcasts as a friendship simulation just blew my mind.
100%. 100%. It's very, what's that word called? I feel attacked. I think we all feel attacked, isn't it, when we heard that, no? I think we all feel attacked, we all feel seen when he called friendships a podcast a friendship simulator. I think we all got seen and we all felt attacked. We go Elephant Graveyard.
As fast, cheap, and low effort as possible. And then it's just a matter of reading ads for dick pills or nicotine mouthwash or whatever.
Brain nourishing.
Oh, it's not good. These lazy stand-up guys got into comedy because it was the easiest thing they could do to avoid getting a real job. But then podcasting came along, and suddenly they had an even easier way to make even more money. And then pretty soon the podcast eclipsed the stand-up, and now all these so-called comedians are really just zero-effort podcasters selling shitty products again and again and again.
We'll be back with the interview in 1 minute. First, we want to talk to you about the sponsors of today's episode, AG1.
Should nuke England.
We take AG1 to stay healthy.
And you're...
It's the little edits underneath. It's the little mumbles that Elephant Graveyard does that are best. The ones he whispers.
Looking great there, bud. Jesus Christ. They really have become indistinguishable from those infomercials you used to see on TV late at night when you couldn't sleep. And you'd turn that thing on, out of desperation, just to maybe hear another voice.
My go-to thing when I was younger, if I went to sleep and I was up late, because I've always been a night owl, I don't know what channel it was. Back in the day when we had cable, the first time we got cable, there was a channel that would always show like reruns of like what's his name? Is it David Hockney? What's his fucking name? The guy who's friends with fucking Hiroshi Fujiwara. Is it David Hockney? No, I think David Hockney is the I think David Hockney is the artist, isn't it? I'm not thinking about that. Who is it? Not David Hockney. What's his fucking name? Old dude. He's kind of similar age to Paul McCartney, but he'd always be on stage performing these shows, and I remember just putting that on late at night to go to sleep. I wouldn't usually put on QVC and shit. Usually those kind of reruns. I forgot his fucking name. Who's that fucking person I'm trying to think of? Musician, old white guy, sings with a guitar by himself. He's not David Hockney. I'll think of it later.
You might even see an interesting product. Who knows?
Arthritis, depression.
Those are podcasts now.
iRestore, the clinically proven, game-changing hair
Maybe
growth.
someone should do probably. Oh my god, look at that, man. That is a crazy grift, isn't it? That is insane, bro. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself as an artist, isn't it? Like, they're selling out and there's this, isn't it? They're selling out and then there's this. iRestore a laser. Get $625 off if you enter the code BERTCAST. That thing must retail for like thousands then. $625 off. Look at that. He looks like he's a fucking dent head, isn't it? Like, look at that helmet. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Device, iRestore. This show is brought to you by DraftKings.
They're just places these fools can hawk supplements and get free advertising for their own branded crap.
I love this.
And they all follow that original blueprint from the godfather of podcasting, Joe Rogan.
Mom brain is real. It's a real thing.
You need some Alpha Brain.
What is it? Can I take it? I'm breastfeeding.
Alpha Brain is a nootropic that my company on.
Yeah, by the way, I'm surprised more people don't do this. Big up Elephant Graveyard for the overlay. I think this might be a good idea for a podcast, you know? Like, unironically, an overlay like this. Like, taking the piss out of all this sort of shit with them, you know, ads and shit. That's actually a good way, like this QVC shit. Maybe I'll switch up the random show layout to copy this. I quite like that.
On it makes. And I'm not saying this because it's my company.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually a very anxious person.
I have a friend whose daughter was on ADHD medication, and she was getting off of it, and he started giving her Alpha Brain.
Very cool.
He said it helped her.
Oh my god, Joe. Oh my god, Joe. Oh my god, Joe Rogan. Really? Really? Really?
Respect for the daughter. Wow.
What is it?
He's become the new establishment, cutting deals with big pharma and backed by massive corporations like Spotify and the Big N.
The thing that fucks up entertainment in general is money. That's all it is. And that fucks up everything. It doesn't make anything good.
So Joe was getting more and more popular. But with that success came a whole new level of public criticism that Joe was not prepared for, and was too weak and frankly lazy to handle. See, one of the core problems with this Joe Rogan guy is the fact that he has that dad-shaped hole in his soul that we alluded to earlier. He grew up with this terrible guy for a dad.
And my big memory from my childhood is my mother coming home with hamburger meat and my father being upset that it was hamburger that she had brought home for dinner, and he beat the shit out of her. And then we left.
Wow. And do you think that somehow or another that put that fight in you?
Yeah, unquestionably, yeah. Like, I thought my dad was this great guy. You know, when you're a kid, your dad's your hero. Right. You know? And all of a sudden I realized when I was 5 years old, very clearly, that my dad was a douchebag. You know, there's that feeling that you can't trust anybody.
And after doing all that emotional damage, Joe's dad abandoned him. But he left him with a lifetime gift.
Emotional damage. Big up Uncle Roger.
A dark black hole inside his soul that he might not even be aware of, and if he is entirely incapable of fixing or even acknowledging. Crippling fear. Now this black hole, it produces incredibly powerful emotional gravity. All his fears, insecurities, self-loathing coalesce around
Elephant Graveyard making a very strong argument that Rogan's got daddy issues is fucking hilarious, man. This is why he's a goat. This is why he's a goat. Big up his other Z's.
I'm on his dad's side. Hamburger meat?
Exactly.
Simon.
Simon. It's like DSP with the lunch meat sandwiches, isn't it? I know I beg for money, but what do you expect me to eat? Lunch meat sandwiches? What the fuck do you think I am? Oh.
On that dad hole. And over these 68 years of Joe's life, this swirling concoction of negativity has formed around the hole. And that's stressful, man. It's a real bind. And it's actually a big reason why Joe became a comedian in the first place.
Why else did you get into being a comedian?
I don't know. I got talking.
Oh, he was flirting with this lady super hard, isn't it? I think whenever women came on the stream, Rogan changes. He was flirting with this. I think the woman, she's in a band or something, I think, that redhead lady. Remember this episode? He was, Rogan was being very giggly. Very giggly, let's just say.
Doing it? No, I wasn't really very funny. I got talked into doing stand-up by my friends from martial arts.
Stop laughing, it's not funny.
I was very insecure, and I got bullied.
See, it's a sad thing.
And I wasn't big. I was a small kid.
Better music.
And I was really nervous, and I did not like that feeling.
Honestly, I love the internet, innit? I love the internet, because some random person paid whatever much money that is to cost to fly this fucking thing in the air that says Joe Rogan is literally 5'3". Like, this is why the internet is amazing, isn't it? This is why the internet, social media is so amazing. Some random person just paid for this. Maybe a couple of grand, maybe more than that. Like, why? For no reason, just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of it. I fucking love the internet, man.
Big. I was a small kid.
Better music.
And I was really nervous. And I did not like that feeling at all. Yeah, I went to an open mic night. I watched amateurs try it. Like, most of them don't know what they're doing. They're terrible. Like, people who really suck inspire you to do it because they lower the bar of expectation.
And do you still do your stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That is the
Do you still do your stand-up? Bless her. You said it like a concerned mum. Look at Rogan's face. Do you still do your stand-up? She does not watch. She does not want to watch. Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Emperor of comedy you're talking to. See, there are two main strains of comedian.
Yeah.
The first kind are the people that are creative artists that have weird brains and maybe even have a triple-digit IQ, and they're driven to create. They are compelled by the muses or whatever, and it makes sense that they're comedians.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs.
Oh, joke.
There's not a single one line of a joke you'll hear better from any comedian in that group. Honestly, man. R.I.P. to the fucking GOAT. One more time, man.
Or whatever,
One more
and it makes
fucking time.
sense that they're comedians.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs.
Oh, jokes. I remember those.
Yeah, exactly.
The other kind of strain of comic,
It's
and
so
this is almost
refreshing,
all
isn't
of
it?
them.
It's so refreshing to hear that, isn't it? Jokes. It's so refreshing to hear a well-written joke delivered to perfection from an actual genuine comedian, who is actually a little bit, who was a little bit cuckoo, but in a good way. In a like, oh yeah.
These days are sad people with black holes inside their soul who get into comedy to try and get external validation from audiences and to indulge in the delusion of power that they feel when standing alone on stage with an amplified microphone where nobody else is allowed to speak. And probably they should lock their phones in a bag too. And now I'm trying to think about who else stood on stage with a microphone trying to fill a hole, vying for attention and power. Oh yeah, this guy.
Oh my
Yeah, for this type of guy.
Comparing the Rogan verse. Oh no, honestly, comparing the 300, the 250 of the elite comedians to Hitler is a wild take, bro. I love fucking Elephant Graveyard. What a fucking curveball.
Guy, stand-up comedy is a dream. They're sad little guys who seek power and external validation. It's classic Hitler stuff. And it's scary, psychotic stuff.
Free speech. That's what we're fighting. That's all I'm fighting for.
Fuck, it's Dave.
When I'm on that stage, I'm there to dictate your emotions. I'm a dictator at that point.
He admits it.
That's all we're fighting for, is free speech.
It's this weird power fantasy where if
free speech, but I'm a dictator. How does that work? Is that like an oxymoron of sorts? Free speech advocate, but I'm also a dictator on stage? Huh?
they're lucky, they can find enough other dumb sad guys in an audience who will give them the laughter and applause they need so badly.
It's the guy.
Would you rather be happy and a lot of people not see your art?
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy. I can already answer that before you even finish that question. I couldn't be happy if people aren't absorbing art of mine.
Sounds familiar.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm addicted to it now. I'm addicted to that feeling of
validation.
Gratification, instant gratification, validation, all of it.
And this shit era of comedy is all built around guys like this, whose entire scheme is simply pandering to the most easily entertained brain-dead audience imaginable to get that quick, self-soothing dopamine hit. And at no point are they funny. And that's the real issue. And they're just too lazy and stupid and driven by urges other than the pursuit of...
Jeremy Piven.
Wait, what's this?
1,000 years ago.
What is this?
I did a show called Entourage. Do you imagine if we tried to reboot that today in this climate?
Yeah.
We used to have billboards everywhere. Just those billboards today, 5 straight, white, focused men coming straight at
Take me back.
People will be like, is that it?
Hey, doesn't he have the same mannerism as Brian Callen? Is it me? I wonder if Brian Callen has been teaching him stand-up comedy. Is it me or does he have the same mannerisms as Brian Callen? Callen. No? Doesn't he kind of move like him a little bit? I wonder if he went to the school of Callen for stand-up.
Documentary about January 6th?
Yeah, that is really good stuff. I actually changed my mind. This era of comedy rules. So yeah, comedy copers. That's the kind of comedian Joe is. And it's sad. He'd love to shrink the size of that dark amalgam that haunts him, but he can't because he doesn't seem to realize, or maybe it's too painful to think about, that he's only chained to that swirling mass of negativity because of the emotional gravity of that dad hole. Address the trauma of that dad hole and the rest floats away into the void. But he can't, and he won't. And because of that, he's stuck with that black hole inside, and the dark amalgam that surrounds it, which, in 2020, was about to grow to terrifying and unimaginable proportions.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. Thanks.
Joe made a big boy business deal with the...
Thanks. Yeah, he knew. That wire cleared. That money dropped in his account. Could you imagine what it must feel like when you get 200 mil in your account for doing fucking podcasting? 300 mil. No wonder he's a shitty comedian. Don't get me wrong. He's always been shitty, but it's no wonder the podcast has gone to shit and the comedy is even worse. 300 mil for doing the bare minimum. Come on.
Partly Chinese Communist Party-owned Spotify Corporation. And after that, he started getting in a lot more trouble for making up stuff on his show and like ruining society and things like that. And at first he had to keep apologizing when he got caught lying, which is crazy to think about now, but it was a different era back then.
Historic fires are ripping through 3 western states.
Hello, everybody. I need to make an apology and a retraction. I said something on the podcast about people getting arrested for lighting fires. I got duped. It's wrong. And I said it without looking into it. It's very irresponsible. And I'm sorry if I duped you as well. I know it feels very irresponsible of me. I don't take it lightly. I'm very upset with myself. And I apologize to you as well. Sorry.
The guy was in way over his head, and his inability to distinguish reality from fiction was starting to stress him.
It is quite wild, isn't it? How somebody like Rogan, who's been on the internet for so long, gets so easily duped by stuff on the internet. Maybe it's just a boomer in him, but if you think about it, he's been on the internet for a long time. He was like streaming on like Justin.tv. That's like early precursor to Twitch. Like he's been online for ages, but he still gets duped by the most, easily fucking thing that you can not get duped from. It's fucking wild. Big up Austin Casey.
What clothing era was worse, wallet chain Rogan or mustard-colored polyester ill-fitting shirt Rogan?
Oh, ill-fitting shirt Rogan, hands down. I thought the wallet chain Rogan at least had something going for him. He had little rascal hats going. He'd wear t-shirts with graphics on it and shit. He looked a little bit cool. And he had the fucking beard going with the hair a little bit. I think wallet chain Rogan was way better. The fucking elongated sleeves what make him look like a fucking child wearing his dad's shirt. I fucking hate this version. With the fucking shoes that are tied super tight. Like, yeah, no thank you. And the super skinny, stretchy jeans, no thank you.
Him out, knowing how much he was bound to keep screwing up and how much trouble he'd keep getting in.
Sorry.
And, if that wasn't bad enough, his best friend humiliated him for apologizing.
What do you think about our buddy putting an apology today?
Sorry.
Who? You see Joe
Rogan, but he got a fact wrong.
Yeah.
Poor Joe Rogan. He put the apology up.
Sorry.
They would tell him go record. He was that.
Yo, big up Ryan Harty.
Rogan needs a handler.
Yeah, exactly. We all need handlers, man, in this new age we're living in. We all need handlers. Big up the handlers out there, aka our mums.
It's hard for my dog. My heart goes out to him. He had to put an apology up and shit.
I guess
things look good things look good in the basement, dog. Once you take that Spotify button, you gotta start apologizing. Sorry.
Look how nervous they all get. That's the thing that really bothers me, innit? It's like Rogan is some sort of protected fucking species. Like Joe Diaz is doing what every comedian should do, busting Rogan's balls for doing that fucking apology video like he's fucking a hostage victim or something. And they're so awkward. Like Christina P and Tom, they're just awkwardly smiling. They don't know what to do because Rogan's been brought up in a not so flattering way.
Make him believe you can't, poor guy. That's what happens when you get that money. You cash that big check, you gotta watch what you say. You see it?
This marked the start of the apology era, which would end up being way too much adversity for Joe to handle. And to get out of this bind...
Also Jeremy Piven acting like he wasn't Me Too'd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's why he's on stage though. He's acting like he's Me Too. That's why he's on stage, brother. You got it mistaken. He's on stage because he got Me Too, That's why he's on stage. He'd rather be on a Netflix show, trust me. He'd rather be playing some high class lawyer, the leader of CIA, some FBI fucking agent. Like he'd rather be doing that for sure. You'd think he wants to be on stage telling fucking jokes about Entourage. He wants to be in movies, bro. Like he's on there because he got cancelled.
Joe was about to embark on a transformation that will surely be studied by psychologists for the rest of time.
How serious is this? Is this something that we need to be terrified of?
So, long story short, a pandemic started. Joe couldn't handle it, and he went and had a panic attack in the sauna.
Well, I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. But everybody's shutting down in the beginning, and people are stockpiling food. I was worried about people I knew getting really sick and dying. And then I was convinced that I had it.
Isn't it wild, man? How the richest people in the world were the ones that were panicking the most. And us regular folks, we just got on with it, innit? You just adjusted. You didn't really cry too much. Just adjusted to that horrible phrase, the new normal. But the richest people in the world were freaking out, like just so upset that they couldn't do what they usually did. They were, for once in their life, they were told no. They were prevented from doing the things that they enjoy. Mad, isn't it?
At one point in time, I was like, God, I think.
Big up Nikki HSG. AZ, I'm single and ready to mingle. Thoughts? Get yourself out there, girl. What do you mean thoughts? Get yourself out there if you're single and ready to mingle. Get yourself out there. Get yourself out there.
I do feel like I'm breathing heavy. I felt like my breath is coming short. I did. I had like psychosomatic issues thinking about it.
Guy had a panic attack sitting on fucking 12 elk. You had a fucking panic attack
in the sauna.
And then you felt bad about yourself, and then you attacked
Thank
people
God,
en masse.
brother.
That's how it works. And that's how the hatred starts.
And that really was when the hatred was unleashed. Soon after, Joe kept talking about like shooting homeless guys.
I mean, nobody does anything about violent crime in LA anymore. Maybe we should just go and shoot homeless people.
I like your ideas.
Yeah.
His pandemic stuff was way too stressful. Then he started frantically scrolling Twitter, found a new group of guys to hang out with. And these guys allowed Joe to believe that everything was actually okay, and so Joe felt relieved and safe with them, and transformed his inner anxiety into outward rage, an emotion he was more accustomed to dealing with on account of that bad dad. But unfortunately, this new group of guys and all the stuff that he and Joe were talking about was getting Joe a lot of negative attention. And that made even more anxiety bubble up. And again, Joe transformed that anxiety into an even bigger rage. And I mean, this guy was getting pissed.
Well, breaking news this evening, Joe Rogan, an extremely popular podcaster, announced on social media today that he has COVID.
Shit, anyone got a lighter?
He mentioned ivermectin is something more often used to deworm horses.
I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is me. This is ivermectin.
You got it
Sit
with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
Oh, this is amazing.
Look, they put a yellow filter on me too. They did. I look like shit there. Do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause.
And his mind just completely shattered.
That's enough, Jim.
He had to defend this new guy he'd started becoming, and all his beliefs, which were the only thing abating his rampant anxiety. And now he was way too invested in this stuff to ever turn back.
5'3". I think this is really important. One of the problems that I've had, me personally, I've had with any idea is that once I have an original idea or once I start looking at something a certain way, I become married to it. And I've had real problems with that. And the problem with saying this happened and that happened, which I used to do all the time, is that you don't fucking know.
Wow, Rogan predicted his own downfall. Rogan predicted exactly where he'd end up right now. Jeez, it was all there. It was all there. So basically, most people don't turn into like. This is what I'm learning with this realization that, you know, my fucking hero, my Northside Elon Musk might be a piece of shit. Most people don't turn into pieces of shit overnight. They were always pieces of shit, but you look past it because of your love for them, you know, or it wasn't as amplified. But it's always there. Once you look back and do the science, it's always there. It's very rarely someone starts off cool and then becomes a cunt. They always were a cunt. You just liked them when they were maybe not that big of a cunt. It's all so clear to me now. It's all so clear to me now.
You don't know. You don't know. But until you do know, when you say you know and you might be wrong, it becomes an ego thing. If I wasn't doing this fucking podcast, okay, if I was just a regular comedian and that's what I did for a living and I didn't pay much attention to alternative media and podcasts, I would be just like people I know who I used to be friends with, who now hate me and are angry at me and talk shit about me online.
Now, you might have noticed that Joe is on the verge of tears there, struggling very hard not to break down and cry. And that's because the real Joe is inside there somewhere dying and desperately trying to be heard. But Joe won't allow it. He's committed to being the new guy. And he puts in major effort in order to keep the old guy beneath the surface, basically torturing him into submission.
And I'm taking the lid off that cold plunge. As I'm taking it off, don't do it, don't do it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I climb right in and... And because
he's such a freak, innit? He's such a fucking freak. He actually thinks he's doing something like impressive by like sitting in a cold bath, innit? Like, honestly, the way he's convinced himself that this is like I don't know, this proves how much of a man he is, or it makes him tougher than. It's like, bro, it's a cold bath. Like, relax, please.
I get through it every day. I start the day off with a win. I won. I beat the inner bitch.
Yeah.
I conquered the inner bitch. I got in there.
If I start my day with a win, then how can I be a loser? Well, despite winning so hard at life from sitting in that tub, he was still pretty messed up from all the backlash he was getting from all his major whoopsies.
I would have been like them if I didn't have the access to the kind of conversations that I've had, if I didn't have the kind of mindset that I have.
The mindset.
My personality.
The personality.
Is just immune to bullshit.
He's got it all.
When bullshit hits me, I go, oh, I know what this is. I grew up without a dad.
Daddy.
Okay? I don't trust people. And the people that haven't experienced that, I can understand why they form the conclusions that they...
That doesn't make sense anyway when you think about it, right? I grew up, like, my dad was mean to me or whatever, so I've got a good bullshit fucking radar. It's like, surely that would be the opposite. Surely some people who grew up with, like, abusive parents and stuff, maybe you're, like, way more naive or way more trusting because of the abuse and manipulation that you were put at home. It's not like a, you know what I mean? It doesn't indicate anything, really. Like, you know, especially when it comes to having a bullshit radar. So that never makes sense to me. But it's funny over the years how Rogan's alleged bullshit meter has been proven to be not working. You know, maybe he's run out of batteries. Maybe his bullshit meter needs some new batteries.
He did, because I could have been them. I 100% could have been them.
Well, thank God Joe's mommy bought hamburger that fateful night. Or Joe could have ended up a guy with the biggest mainstream media platform on earth, being easily used and exploited by weird billionaires and grifters, and allowing it to happen because he's just so desperate for love and validation on account of that dad hole. It's crazy to think there's a multiverse thing out there where a #1 comedy podcast doesn't have guests like some comic book villain evil rich guy, all these nutjob billionaire dweebs, and like, I don't know, a guy literally from the CIA that's on like once a month for some reason, and also...
Exactly. Literally a guy from the CIA that's on once a month. Exactly. It's like Mike Baker is it's just like a useless guest, isn't it? Like just running propaganda, just like psyop shit.
Literally from the CIA.
Like, what the fuck is he doing there? Honestly, what the fuck is he doing there?
That's on like once a month for some reason, and also like the entire government basically. Could any of these people have tried to influence the way he thinks? Nah, man, he grew up without a dad, so you don't even have to take that question into consideration. And say sorry. Like, would it kill you to just apologize for no reason? Anyway, yeah, the manipulation of Joe. I thank the Lord each day of my life that didn't happen. Right, Duncan? Remember you warned Joe about that happening? Thank you so much for saving our dad. I mean, Joe. Thank God he's got friends that still tell him the truth and don't tell him part of the truth and then walk it back a little bit out of fear of disrupting his delusions, stressing him out, and then being cut out of his inner circle. That would be spineless and, you know, would make it obvious that all your peace and love and honesty stuff was just a load of crap all along.
If you're not careful, folks from deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit.
Listen to me. All those people that are organized, they come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug?
Relax.
Why?
Just relax. All those people are just people, man.
Like a white supremacist?
They're lost.
Yeah, but you have to watch out because people are gonna like try to exploit you. That's the main thing, is like people recognizing what you are. You have political agendas will infiltrate your shit and then start blowing out their radioactivity into the world, right? That's a fear.
Like radium.
But like, dude, I do worry about you sometimes, man, because it's like you now have a platform that is unlike any platform that's happened, you know, because you're doing like a comedy podcast, radio show style thing, but you're also interviewing people about really heavy duty shit. Then you start thinking like, man, I've got this podcast that lots of people listen to. Has it ever happened where maybe some really intelligent person has manipulated me in an attempt to get me to disseminate some kind of information out into the world?
Good luck manipulating me, Duncan Trussell. I'm an American.
Yeah,
okay?
But you wouldn't even know. That's the thing. You wouldn't even...
Oh, I wouldn't know? How would I not know? These people are people.
What?
They're gonna be like, if someone is so good at manipulating people that they can manipulate me and change the way I think about things.
Yeah.
Well then, good luck.
So Joe got attached to all this COVID stuff, and everyone was either yelling at him and calling him a dangerous idiot, or they were showering him with praise for widely broadcasting all their favorite ideas about what reality might be, and making them feel validated. So, if you're a fearful, self-loathing, and external validation-seeking guy like Joe, which side would you embrace? Well, Instead of posting more apology videos, he opted to fully dive into a wonderful new safe space. He tapped into something he'd been searching for all his life, a source of constant praise and affirmation. And the guys doing all the praising were happy to have found a powerful ally in the new mainstream media. And as if that wasn't enough, Joe also found an endless parade of charlatans willing to juice his rod like he's some kind of...
Oh, man. He wraps it up like a bow.
God King for access to his wonderful platform and a chance to milk him for their own fame and fortune.
I want to give you the gifts I got you, bro. Got 5 of them. Okay, the letter to the right is the Warren Commission. Then you got the...
Oh my God. Cringe. Cringe, bro. Cringe. Like, I don't know, man. Go take your mum out for dinner or something, man. Go get your kids a new toy. Like, oh. God, this is fucking disgusting.
Autograph of Lee Harvey Oswald, and you got the autograph of John F. Kennedy.
Wow. A 5th place golf tournament prize.
So I hope you like this.
It's wonderful.
5th place golf tournament. It's so accurate. Or it's something that you win on a cruise or something, you know? Like, what? Joe loves it though. This is definitely Joe's. It's a good gift for Joe though, because with someone like Joe like that, he would love that. He's definitely gonna be. That's definitely hung very proudly somewhere in the fucking Joe Rogan fort.
This is the one that I think you're gonna like a lot. So, this one was work, bro. I hope you like it. Okay. This is with the what do you call it when you're doing a...
Whoa. Yeah, it's called a BPSRJ, a blatant public sycophantic rod juicing. And Joe just laps it off.
How the fuck did he come up with this shit? I'ma steal that shit, honestly. What? BPSRJ?
With, the what do you call it when you're doing a...
Whoa. Yeah, it's called a BPSRJ, a blatant public sycophantic rod juicing.
That is so good.
And Joe just laps it all up, swallowing the praise and plugging it into that hole his bad dad left in his soul.
You're a very important guy.
Here we go.
Everybody loves you.
Finish him
I
off.
got a lot of respect for you.
Talk to me, baby.
There's a level of admiration for you.
Don't stop.
There's true love for you.
Harder.
There's true...
Oh my God. Hard. Harder. Take the condom off. Milk. Honestly, bro. Like, fucking hell. Like, wow, man. That's uncomfortable. Yo, fucking PBD, bro. Relax. Rogan likes you, bro. That's the thing. Rogan likes PBD. Like, why is he trying so hard? Like, tranquilo, brother. Calma. He actually likes you. Like, he actually, like, you're one of the new ones he likes. Like, relax. Take it easy. Like, he's basically replaced Dave Rubin, it feels like. He's a new Dave Rubin. Like, just relax. Calma. Tranquilo, please. Fucking hell.
Protection for you.
Too
You
hard.
don't need any protection when it comes up to a street fight.
Perfect.
You don't need any protection, like, what? We can fuck raw, like, we can fuck man to man. Mano a mano, you get me? Dick to dick, bro. You know, we don't need to, like, I want to feel you. You want to feel me? We don't need no protection. Yo. Hey, yo.
You know how to fight and take care of yourself.
Feels
my
good.
My weapon is words. And by the way, my book is coming out in December.
And these rod juicings just felt so good. And they relieved Joe.
Of course. Naturally. That's brilliant, brother. That's good. That was good. That was a good fucking... That's good foreplay. That's how you meant... That's how you meant to fucking go. You know, he buttered fucking Joe Rogan up and then boom. Here's my book. Here's my book. It's banned. It's banned in 27 nations. You know, the mainstream media, they can't handle the truth in this book.
Of the anxiety he was feeling from all that criticism he was getting. And on top of that, all those instances of Joe transforming his fear into rage compounded on each other. And through neuronic muscle memory, his brain began to default to the fear-rage switch innately. And whether Joe meant to do this or not, I don't know, no free will, he actually became a whole new guy.
I've never voted right-wing in my life.
I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights.
I'm even universal health care. See this thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me crazy. Yeah, the hard right version of that is despicable. January 6th.
Man, what happened to this guy, man? Is it just money? Is it money, really? Is that how you change your political fucking leanings that hard? Is it money? Like, how do you be universal fucking, what you call it? Free healthcare, universal basic income guy, fucking pro-trans, like, how do you end up to be that to this? Ugh, Rogan, man. Come on, man. All my heroes are letting me down, man. All my heroes are letting me down.
Sixth thing is important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so dangerous.
Joe Rogan endorsing Donald Trump.
Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is
Fucking
Thank you, Joe.
Here we go.
Becoming a new guy
my God.
is a very effective way of...
Oh my God, that's disgusting, man. Utterly disgusting. Utterly disgusting. The smiles they shared. Look at that. Trump is over the moon because he knows what that endorsement does. He knows what that endorsement did. He knows. That's why he went running to that podcast. He knew the power of it.
Here we go.
Becoming a new guy.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You don't even see Rogan smiling at that with fucking Brendan Schaub. Not even with Elon Musk. That's a proper love. Look at that. You can see he's smiling with his eyes. That's proper love there.
Guy is a very effective way of slipping out of the shackles of judgment anxiety. Simply identify a crowd that you want to belong with, and then reconfigure your entire personality in order to fit in with that group.
It's like, you remember when Madonna had a fake English accent and everybody's like, bitch, you're from Brooklyn or wherever the fuck you're from.
Yeah.
You are not from England. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
They were like
Yes, they all jumped in the back of a U-Haul truck together. Yeah. There has never been...
U-Haul, exactly. Austin Rogan, Southern Rogan now. Oh yeah. The projection is massively strong, isn't it? He was just annoyed that Madonna got away with it and he couldn't get away with it. It's like the quintessential guy that goes to college, isn't it? To a new college away from their high school, and then they turn into a new person. You know, it's always alarming when you bump into an old friend like that, but you got this new personality in this new place you're in. You're like, fuck, they know me for who I really am.
A thing that I've ever seen where almost immediately I was like, those are feds. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing. I mean, look, some people are barely holding on to reality.
You're right.
Barely.
You're right.
All they need is one smack, one...
If you adopt all their beliefs and then convince yourself that they're the only group whose opinion matters, then you never have to worry about being judged and criticized ever again. What a relief. This rap guy, Machine Gun Boy, he too became a new guy recently by employing the new body, new guy technique himself.
I'm in a new body. I literally am in a new body. Like, I covered everything on my arms and my body. I left windows to it.
Oh, you see the beard, by the way. Machine Gun Kelly might be the only guy in the world I've seen who looks worse with a beard. I've seen him recently on the red carpet. He looks worse with a beard. He actually looks way better clean shaven. Most guys looks improved with beards because it gives you a fucking fake jawline and covers up some of your fucking horrible bottom chip on your face. But he actually looks better clean shaven than does with a beard. Small observation.
But just like there's windows to my old work, but I'm a new person. So the evolution has like led me from a caterpillar to a butterfly now.
Hold on, that was kind of deep.
Transition into a new guy is very difficult, and it takes many years to become fully immersed in the self-delusion. But upon reaching the maximal delusion saturation...
I love hood niggas. All he said was transition, right? Or whatever he said, the word, a big word, and it made Gilly say, oh, okay, that's deep. All you got to do is string a couple deep words together, and some hood guy in America is going to think you're fucking Einstein. You know what I mean? Because you said maybe some complicated word. You said a big word, and it made their brain fucking frizzle. Like, relax, Gilly. It's not that deep.
Point, your simulated self becomes more real than your original classical self. And the transition into a new guy is completed. And after years of waffling on the fence, as we enter the year 2025, Joe's transition into this new guy appears to finally be complete. Well done.
gotta remember, like they were probably messed up. The reason they're doing what they're doing is because something happened to them earlier on. There was an aggressive, teacher, uncle, somebody that just
maybe a dad.
A dad who was drunk.
Yep.
There's stuff that pushes them in that direction to be expressive, controlling, and wanting to be.
That's actually his dad, isn't it? That's actually his dad as well. I think he was on a subreddit as opposed to him. He actually seems like a bit of a cunt as well.
Acknowledged and do it exactly my way because I was powerless as a child.
And when you said I beat up kids, I beat up other women. Joe Harrison was, when you farted in your house, they knew next door. How could I get away with that?
Yeah, for sure, right? And then that's the thing you see with actors too, and they finally get some success, and then finally you're the man. Like, oh, look, it's Mike. Your bagel's ready, Mike, and your trailer's ready. And then Mike is, get me a fucking coffee. Like, oh, Mike, anything for you. And people act in this disproportionate, very insane way. You know what I'm suffering? Jamie, this coffee sucks. Water. I don't know what happened, but you made it like almost, it's literally like almost like water. Can we get some more? We're going to talk about this. This is the worst coffee I've ever had.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ, Rogan, man. Relax. God almighty. We're going to talk about this after the show. Like, what? He's going to tell him off about the fucking French press coffee. Yo, chill.
Exponential here, by the way, is, OpenAI or whoever makes the next model.
Oh, no. Bless him. Look at Jamie. Look at Jamie saying sorry.
The exponential here, by the way, is, OpenAI.
Oh. There's so much already. Just like, sorry I didn't brew the coffee to your exact fucking preferences while I'm running the fucking soundboard, switching the fucking cameras, making sure the fucking levels are correct. Like, I apologize, right? And let's be fair, Joe Rogan's audio is fucking perfect, not like mine. Joe Rogan's audio in his podcast is fucking perfect, and we have to pop all the fucking credit to Jamie. He's a fucking great producer. He Googles, he's running the fucking, he's doing the fucking camera switches, checking the levels, and then, Rogan's ragging on him for fucking not sorting out the fucking coffees. Oh, and by the way, big up Coiler, he's definitely one that will feel for this. Brother, look at this fucking table. What is with these tables with stuff? It always boggles my mind how they are comfortable podcasting like this, with just a table full of shit. Like, just covered in stuff. Look at this. Cans, aerosol cans, it looks like an ice bucket, mugs, hats, merch from previous guests, gifts. Man, look at it. Look at it. Like, statues. Like, what the fuck is this? Fucking hell.
AI or whoever makes the next model.
Jamie, this is still super watered down.
I just have to let it
I did.
I just put the water in.
I'm telling you, dog.
There's a ton of coffee.
Get me a coffee.
Set of stable materials.
Coffee's terrible. I'll just tell you right now. Jamie, this is terrible for coffee, though. You're like, this is fucking terrible.
Oh, he looks like
it's terrible.
Sorry. And it really makes you wonder, like, how many times has Joe done this?
Let's relax, Joe, with the fucking coffee. And I think those guests were the ones that he was bored of. I think he was also being passive aggressively dismissive to the guest. He didn't really care about what they had to say. That's why he's probably ragging on Jamie. But bro, just deal with it after the show, man. Like, God almighty, so unprofessional, so mean.
How many new guys has he transformed into over the years in order to avoid actually facing the dad hole head on? And who is the real Joe Rogan underneath all of those guys? And do the old guys still exist somewhere? Or do they float away to die in some...
Yo, big up Josie. Yeah, exactly. Big up Josie. If you're that picky, then just make it yourself. Exactly. If you need it brewed a particular way, it's too watery, just go fucking make it, but it's not that difficult. Fucking hell.
Astral plane. Oh, or maybe one of those other branches of the multiverse. I don't know, but it's all very friggin' cerebral. So just a quick recap. We're exploring how did comedy get so shit? And surely you know the end of this shit cycle is coming any day now. You're all aware of the ever-growing industry of guys pointing out how shit the ship era is. People are catching on, guys. Don't wait for the rest of the rats to start jumping off the Rogan shit ship. Be that rat yourself and fucking jump already. It's time to leave Daddy's house. I mean, would you rather be at the forefront of the great post-Rogan comedy rebuild? Or would you prefer to face a jury?
Yo, big up, Coiler. Appreciate it,
It's a
brother.
2-hour pod and table looks like a 7 a.m. afters.
Exactly. And big up the people who have been to afters where I've never done it, but big up to people who've been, because it's literally like somebody killed a cat in a room. When somebody accidentally spills something on the table and it spills into the plates or the baggies that are there on the table. Yo, there's never a more scarier moment when you're at an afters and somebody tips a drink on the table where all the fucking multivitamins are. Oh my god. That will definitely sober you up pretty quickly.
Of your peers at Comedy Nuremberg. Sorry. Anyway, so King Joe became a new guy. It's fucking insane, but he did it. He's the mainstream king. And this new guy he's become has allowed him to make a massive power grab within the US government, cementing his position within the establishment. He's the comedy czar. And I honestly can't even tell if he's aware of the fact that he's become the unofficial podcast of the US government. He's got a direct line to the president.
Wow. That's so true. He has become the unofficial podcast of the US government, isn't it? Especially this government or this administration. Fuck. He is a mouthpiece for the US government. That is pretty crazy.
But we definitely hate it in Canada right now.
Oh, yeah.
See that hockey game? Kick Canada's ass. Sorry, Canada. In Canada.
Excuse me?
It's not good because that's their fucking sport.
Oh, really, dude?
Celebrate too quickly, my friends. You celebrated too quickly. Brendan backs America hockey team. Oh, by the way, their jerseys are hard, isn't it? I'd fucking wear that. Their jerseys are hard. Look at that. That's a fucking cool jersey, bro. Might have to check out and see if I can get that somewhere. That is really fucking good. Oof.
Eat shit. All right, sorry. What were we talking about?
The talk about turning Canada into a 51st.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. He's serious. He told me on the phone he was serious.
Yeah, well,
at first I was joking around, but then I was thinking maybe it's not a bad idea. So funny.
He's become comedy goibles. Jobles. Just kidding.
Big up Mr. Mace. It says Canada on it though. Yeah, big up Mr. Mace. Nah. Bless Canada, man. Nice country. Never been there.
But if you think that's slanderous, you must have missed Joe's best friend's announcement that comedy is legal now.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like,
comedy sucks. Honestly. Comedy sucks. No, one more time. Honestly, it's so cringe.
It's legal now.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah. Legalize comedy.
But now it's 2025 and Joe's the only guy on earth still ranting and raving about the pandemic, once his bread and butter, and
why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing.
Addicted to something that pissed him off like 4 years ago. Addicted to the whining. He looks for stuff to whine about like a pathetic cigarette junkie, scouring the sidewalk for butt remnants to smoke because that's all that's available. And you gotta take what you can get.
If that Tim
wow, and he actually looks like him. Honestly. I know I'm fucking sucking off Elephant Graveyard like Rogan, like Brendan sucks off fucking Rogan. But the editing is just, it's a lot, man. Especially towards the end of the video. Because anyone that knows that's doing video editing, sometimes you phone it in towards the end because you get lazy. But the attention to detail. The attention to detail and the little Easter eggs everywhere. Like, I'm sure I'll probably pick up on others when I rewatch it again. Because obviously I'm going to rewatch it. It's fucking brilliant, man. It's fucking brilliant.
Walls sucker, if that guy got into power, that weirdo puts tampons in the boys' room and...
So this new guy experiment is fucking insane, but it actually kind of worked out for Joe. But Joe wasn't going to stop there. I mean, say what you want about Joe, but this guy can overcommit to stuff at a pathological level. Becoming a new guy was not enough. Though more secure in his delusion than ever before, the flimsy tent poles holding up the belief in this new guy were always threatened by critics and like just regular normal people calling him stupid and stuff. So it was still kind of stressful. Now Joe is putting in efforts to normalize the whole concept of becoming a new guy in order to legitimize his own transition. And now Joe has gifted the world a brand new blueprint to copy. It's the new guy blueprint, and guys are already getting into it. We just saw Mark Zuckerberg show up to the Shitcast to unveil his new guy.
We're also lucky that you got into jiu-jitsu, because I think you look different. When you walked in here today, you look thicker. You look like a different guy.
It just turned on like a part of my brain that I was like this was a piece of the puzzle that should have been there. And I'm glad it now is.
Now, Mark maybe wasn't quite ready to unveil the new guy, but you know, sometimes we get a little bit too excited about our new guy, and we unveil them before they're really ready.
I like racing, and I feel like all these activities, grilling meats, racing cars,
grilling meats,
are probably two of the most fun things that you can do. Oh yeah, hunting too.
Yeah, same kind of thing. You've done a lot of that as well.
Yeah, well, my favorite is bow and arrow.
Joe's already dubious. He's worried that Mark is going to bungle the new guy unveiling here and undo all the hard work Joe's put into normalizing new guy transitioning. But at the same time, Joe the gatekeeper can't help but become activated to defend the holy hobby of hunting.
I mean, that's, I think, like the most... That feels like the most kind of sporting.
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh.
Whoopsie.
Do you know the company that makes it?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, that's bad.
No.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
But Joe was enthused to see someone else try and follow his path.
I saw your neck. I'm like, his neck's bigger. Your neck is bigger.
Good.
Are you using iron neck?
Sorry, I got to cut it off before he goes into infomercial mode again. So Mark got Joe's support for his new guy, but Mr. Schaub, yeah, he wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
Brendan saw right through Mark's new guy transition and refused to recognize it.
You had Zuckerberg on, and he goes, I hunt. Oh, no.
Look how he's holding that cigar. Honestly, look how he's holding that cigar. Like, look at that. Look how he's holding that cigar. Like, everything he does, why is it so awkward and weird and lame? Like, look at how he's holding that fucking cigar.
I went like this, yes.
Joe's not having it and jumps in to defend Mark and his new guy.
Do you?
No,
what kind of bow do you use?
I think he did. He just forgot his bow.
Oh,
he forgot the name of his bow.
Zuckerberg 2.0, and I love it.
And of course, Brian defends the new guy transition as well, to appease his lord.
Exactly.
It's all kind of coming together for Joe, I guess. All these guys are becoming new guys all over the place, using Joe's blueprint as a guide. Back before he completed his transition, Joe was dreaming about all of this happening. And since he knows how difficult it can be, navigating society as a new guy, and all the criticism you get for transitioning, he started envisioning a new world for all the new guys to go. And he checked his bank account, and there was like $1 billion in there from his work with Big Pharma. And so Joe thought, well, what if I create a special place for anyone that wants to be a new guy? And we'll all be new guys, and we'll support each other's guys. And if we come together and bind all of our new guy copes together, we'll be stronger in our belief. And if a guy can become any kind of guy he wants anytime, then maybe reality itself can be changed just the same. And then nobody can break the delusion, and we'll finally be able to relax forever. And reality can be whatever we want it to be. And there's only one place where we can do it.
Too good. Too good. Too good. Oh my god, what a brilliant video. Oh my god. The comedy mothership. Please hug your sons. Sorry. For everything. What a way to end it, man. Yo, Bill Austin Casey.
Baba calling someone else out for inauthentic hobbies or pursuits is crazy.
Honestly, the hypocrisy writes itself. The hypocrisy writes itself, mate. Him calling at anybody for fucking not staying in their lane, right? It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. But wow, Elephant Graveyard does it again. Elephant Graveyard fucking does it again. Give him a like, give him a signal. Let him know how much you enjoyed that. That was fucking brilliant. Let me quickly see what the comments are saying. Are they glazing him as much as I'm glazing him? Careful, bro. This man commands an army of 249 comedian assassins. I knew rich people would destroy the world. I just never expected it to be such losers. Isn't that true? Isn't that just true? Isn't that just true? Huh? It's like the billionaires and the CEOs When did it? Honestly, like, do you remember there was a time when you didn't hear from these billionaire CEO guys unless they were at Davos or like TED Talks, or if they went to some fucking they did some fireside chat somewhere, or they were doing at South by Southwest. You remember? It was really hard to get a lot of these billionaire, millionaire, innovator guys on the phone, on the record, because they were busy working. They were busy trying to change the world, mold the world into the vision or whatever that they had in their brain or whatever it may be. Fucking upending fucking industries, turning shit around, breaking new ground. Now these guys don't fucking stop talking. Do you remember that? There was a period when the most powerful people in the world would just shut the fuck up. Now they just won't stop shoving their opinions down your fucking throat. Crazy, innit? Crazy. And some of them are podcasters. That's the scary part. Some of them are podcasters. I had a friend in high school who had a rich dad. He had half pipe in his basement. Wow. Do you remember, bro? Do you guys remember that when you go to your friend's house and they had like a full fucking little skate park thing in their gardens? Remember one kid we used to go skateboarding in his garden. He had a little ramp. He had a little fucking slappy board thing, a little thing where you could do slappies on and shit. Like, that was a thing. Like, wow. Half pipe in his basement. All the kids went there to skate half pipe, even though he sucked. No one ever told him he sucked. Otherwise, you couldn't skate his half pipe. That is a brilliant analogy. What a beautiful made video. Becoming the official podcast of UK government is so wild and true. Brave new world. Bill Hicks joke about the government approved rock and roll, but now it's government approved comedy or government approved podcasting. No matter what he says, we all know Joe Rogan watches these videos. I don't think so. I'm gonna believe he doesn't. I think he's that oblivious. I think he's that willfully oblivious. Like, he's so rich and he's so powerful that he can afford to not watch anything. You know, I think he generally doesn't watch stuff. I think he generally doesn't. I think if he did, he'd change. I think the fact that he doesn't change and he doubles down on some of the most annoying things that he does, or he repeats stories ad nauseum, I think is proof that he doesn't. He's very purposely oblivious to all that shit. You can't, but I think he watches other people's shit. I think he's one of those weirdos. He doesn't watch anything about himself, but he watches other people's shit. Like, he watches it. Definitely watches other people's shit. No matter what, you can't be an outsider, rebel, and a free thinker if you hang out with the richest, most powerful people in the world and get invited to the presidential inaugurations. Great point. That's one thing I've rated Tim Dillon about, because I think he was meant to go to the inauguration, but he didn't in the end, because he said he wants to maintain a bit of distance and still be able to take the piss out of these people. He still had Steve Bannon on the other day, but I think the Tim Dillon approach of, like, let's just keep a nice distance. Yes, you can enjoy my stuff from afar, but I don't want to be your friend because I don't want to get in trouble for taking the piss out of you and say something dumb. But yeah, that's a good point. Man, I'm gonna be honest. Listening to Duncan try and talk his longtime friend down from the edge of stupidity and destruction was very sad. He was trying to reach Joe Rogan on the human level, but Joe wasn't having it. Finally, someone that knows Tom Green is a true podfather. I can't be manipulated, says the most easily manipulated person of all time. Yeah, exactly. I'm impervious to bullshit. I am immune to fucking nonsense. The young boy pointed and said, "The Emperor has no jokes," and everyone gasped. Oh, deep. There's deep people in the fucking Elephant Graveyard fucking comments. Elephant Graveyard's YouTube viewership has the site's highest completion rate per video by far. Ain't no way we letting this nectar slip through our hands. Exactly. Put on these podcasts and mental screensavers and escape into the friendship simulation. Really beautiful metaphor. Exactly. Friendship simulation, you know. Yep. I'm here for it though. I'm here for it. It works on me as well. Elephant Graveyard ahead of his time, putting out HBO documentaries of our downfall as a society before it even happens. The top 250 comedians until 12 p.m. PST submit at least 5 funnies they have made this week. We do live in a weird age where comedians will tell you they have been cancelled on the Netflix special, that if you don't laugh it's your fault and not their poor writing and stale comedy. That's so true. I've been cancelled while you're watching them on fucking Netflix, on one of the most brightly lit, well-produced shows you've ever seen in your entire life that you just paid fucking $20 a month for. Yeah, you're so cancelled, brother. Anyway, big up Elephant Graveyard. Fantastic fucking video. You know where to find it. You know where to blood clot find it.